Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Sligo Show with myself, Brendan Tierney. Nice to have you back again, and thanks to everyone who gave us some lovely compliments all through the week there. This week we have all your usual slots. We have our entertainment, news, sport. We have our local feature of the week, which is a well-known face for the kids out there who know him from RTE Junior. It's Jay Ryan, storyteller. And our special guest this week is local actor Nichola McEvilly. So more from her in a little while. Don't forget, we have our topic of the week. And all you got to do on that is just comment on our live feed on Facebook. And one of you will win a lovely €20 voucher for Ripple's Cafe, which is just upstairs here beside the Riverside Hotel. So before we get to Nicola, just want to let you know later on we have a very special piece where we investigate into the roadworks chaos that has been destroying the town for weeks and weeks and weeks. So we're going to show you a little clip of that now, but we'll have the full piece at the end of the show. Why is it taking so long? People in the town are really getting sick of this. Like, you know, is there any reason? Has something held you up?
Well, it takes this long.
Traffic. People here, like, how can you get anything done with all these?
So stay tuned at the end of the show for that. It is an amazing piece of investigative work, if I do say so myself. So back to tonight's show, and our special guest is the one and only Nicola McEvily, local actor amongst many things. Welcome to the show, Nicola.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Great to be here is right. Good to have
anywhere.
You. I know, anywhere at all live is great fun.
I know.
So I suppose we'll get straight into it. And I suppose for anyone that may not know you, tell us a little bit about your background. Obviously born and bred and grew up in Sligo. So What was your story growing up around the town?
Well, I was actually born in Cavan because my mother's from Cavan. So they were there for Christmas and I was like, not missing this.
Yes,
so I arrived in Cavan. But yeah, bred and buttered in Sligo. Yeah, Cleaver Road. Yeah. Yeah, went to the Mercy Primary School and then went to the Ursuline. I crossed the town over
is
to
that not allowed, is it? You're supposed to stay at the side of the tracks, is it? You had to get a pass.
I had to get a pass, yeah, but I got it anyway. Okay. And went to the Ursuline.
And was it there where you started, let's say, treading the boards or getting into the acting world?
It was probably a bit before that. I'd say I was around 10, 11 sort of age. I was really fascinated with it before that. My brother was really into drama and he's a bit older than me. So I would have been going to like the Sligo Fun Company shows and the Hawkswell and the Drama Circle and the Fesh even, all those kind of things, watching him and just loving it, But I was 10, around that age before I
got into one of the proper. Did you join up with any of those groups at the time at that age?
Okay. I can't remember which came first. Whether I did, I think I went to speech and drama first with Walter McDonough and Mary Finnegan, and did the little plays and the Fesh and that. And then when I was 10 going on 11, I was Annie.
Oh, okay.
So that was it. That was just.
That was some jump, that's a huge role at 10.
I know, I kind of went, whoa. Yeah. So that was like the Sligo Fun Company was just,
and I think Sligo's very lucky that there are so many theatre groups that people of all ages can have a chance to get on the stage. So I suppose you were lucky that.
And different types, the drama and the kind of music type.
Yeah, yeah, so much so. And there's the more serious ones, there's the more fun ones, there's just the more musical side of things.
Yeah.
So then progressing on from there, up to the teenagers, doing all the shows here, and then when it came to college, did you go, was it straight into acting college? You went to London, I believe.
Yeah. So I went to drama school straight away from my leaving cert. So, I just knew I wanted to work in theatre because I was just so fascinated with theatre. And then when I was, I suppose, 17, between fifth year and sixth year, I did this thing in the UK. It was a international youth theatre, and I was over in Canterbury and Kent in England, and I was over there and meeting people there the same age as me who were going on to try to get into drama schools. That I sort of learned all about that you could actually be an actor as a profession.
You were there over for like a week or a weekend thing, and that's where you learned, these things exist and I can do this.
Yeah, we did a play. It was a month,
a month?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, cool, okay.
Yeah.
And did people at home, mum and dad, go, of course go off to acting school?
They were sort of, because I was so single-minded about it, and I think they were just glad I had a passion and a route, that I wasn't, wondering what I wanted to do. I think it was kind of handy that, that's half the battle sometimes, isn't it?
No, if you enjoyed doing it, and as you said, they're interested, so I'm sure most parents will be like, great, look, let's see where it goes, and whatever happens, happens. And it wasn't just any acting school. I know you went to the same acting school as some really famous actors, Gary Oldman, Tom Hardy, Michael Fassbender.
Oh yeah, she's all my pals, you know.
Would you ever have met them, or was there other people, you know, household names down the years in when your era in the college?
Yeah, actually, no, I never met any of them, but yeah, we were definitely following in their footsteps. You know, you could feel that was my first drama school. Then I did a master's then in another one, and there was like Judi Dench and everything went there. So you're like, oh my God, it's amazing. Okay. But yeah, like a lot of people from my year are doing very well. You know, it takes a while to kind of get going, and they'd be doing well. But then just as many, actually more, don't, you know.
I imagine it is a tough industry, like, you know. And I suppose from what you learned in Sligo when you were young, and then to go into that big, let's call it the more professional world, what kind of would you say is the main couple of things that you really learnt there? Like, what made the difference there and made you better at your trade?
Well, the first thing they said to us when we went to drama school is that there'll be no more acting. Like, acting is about, you're like, oh really? I think we're in the wrong place. Acting is actually about telling the truth. So we're going to teach you for the next 3 years, you're going to learn how to kind of research characters and roles and find out what the truth is and tell it truthfully. So so that kind of sticks with me. And then of course just you know, training, like being fit physically, and you know, it's a mind, body, soul thing.
So now so to be ignorant about it, I mean, it's not fitness like we know in the gym. Is it fitness that's related to doing certain things in a role, or it's just actually being fit?
Being fit, being fit and able, especially if you're doing a play for a couple of months, you know, and you're running around a lot. Yeah, but also fitness in terms of the craft as well, of, you know, creating a character and.
And I'm sure it is a mental drain sometimes to try and get in there and learn it all and get it right.
And the business as well. The business is hard. The business side of it, you know. Going for roles, not getting them, and you know, keeping the momentum going, and
so they would have taught you, you know, for doing auditions and stuff like that as well. They trained you in all of that element as well. So it wasn't just the actual skill, that was actually proper business stuff as well.
They could have spent more time on that now, and tax returns. They probably could have spent more time on that too.
No, that's, I don't think anyone finds fun for that. So you went there for how many years were you over there in London?
I stayed then after all my training, so I was there for nearly 11 years.
Okay. And working as
working, you know, like jobbing, you know. And then I did some other things as well, like I produced some film there, and we started a theatre company together, a gang of us, when we all left. And then I decided at one point I was going to work in casting, so I worked for Hubbard's, that famous family of casting directors. They're actually Irish, but they're based in London. They did The Commitments. That was their first big show, and then they did like all Lord of the Rings and all those. So I worked as first as an intern for a while, and then I got a job with them, just kind of on off, like assisting things, which is cool.
Did you think at any point, oh yeah, actually I don't like being on stage or in camera, I actually prefer this casting? Did that ever happen?
I think it was the other way around. I think the casting made me go, oh, actually, I think I actually want to be doing
Yes.
And that was actually the beginning of coming home as well.
And that's what I was going to say next. So obviously the lovely sea air of Sligo drew you back home again. And was there any one particular reason, or what kind of changed your mind?
Loads of reasons, really. Like as amazing as London is, I felt like I was missing a lot in Ireland. I was missing out on a lot of those kind of big shows that were made here, and things that I felt I was more suited for, you know. So I felt like, well, why can't I have the all of it, you know? Why can't I like widen the net and be more available for stuff here? And it was Roz Hubbard from Hubbard's who one day in the office things were a bit stressful or whatever. It was a lot working film is kind of stressful sometimes. And she goes, oh, will you just go home to Ireland and act? I went, well, actually, do you know, I will. Will you help me?
Simple as that.
So yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily homesickness, right? And you kind of seen from a career point of view, you thought
it was homesickness as well. Though I think I was homesick the whole time I was there. Going, I can't pass Knock Airport now without feeling that pang of homesickness. So
just reminds you.
I never really settled. Yeah.
Okay. And do you miss London at all now? Like you just still go back, or?
I love going back when it's work that brings me there. You know, but the thought of living there again, I don't think so. No.
It's a bit too busy.
Yeah, it's just it's a hard city to live in if you can't pursue your passion, I suppose, what you're there for, you know. And most people are there, if they're not from London, they're there for a particular reason. So
And coming to a bit forward, the last year and a half, I imagine you were really glad you came back to Sligo and were here for the lockdown. And how was it for you? I mean, obviously, professionally, I presume everything more or less stopped.
The first few months were just like, well, looking back, they were horrendous. At the time, you're like, oh my God, but just so much work cancelled, and, you know, work for later in the year when you think, oh, it'll be over by then, and then suddenly everything's gone. So yeah, it was hard. I think we found our jive, you know, a few months in, and then, you know, things sort of came back in different ways. So we were able to carry on as best as we could. But yeah, it was
and like, did you just take a complete stop for a while? Go, I'm not going to wreck my head sending tapes in, or you know, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
just lose a bit
there
of
was something nice about that, actually.
A break,
go,
headspace.
whoa, no one's getting the job because there's no jobs to get. We're all in the same boat, which was nice. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe there was a slight part of my brain switched off, but then, you know, there's always the like, oh, you know,
wondering when it will all come back again. Like,
when will it come back?
With lockdown, did you find you missed the whole work side of things more, or was it the social life and, you know, friends and that, you know, what was the most difficult part?
I think I missed work more. Yeah, because I'm lucky living in the town. You know, you go for your walk and you'd always sort of meet someone. You'd shout across the road even, so you'd get like that fix would do you for a few days. But yeah, no, I think I missed being out working, as
much as anything, I mean, I suppose you would live in the town, so you were lucky you had lots of nice spaces to walk around. We're very lucky in Sligo town here with that.
So
there's so many beautiful spaces to walk around, even within the 2K.
Yeah, I know. It's just, you couldn't get to the beach, but you could get, you know, you'd see people at least. Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the first half. Great to chat to you.
You too.
And just before we go to our news and sport, just to remind you, our topic of the week is Father's Day. So we're asking all the dads out there to be honest, okay? So this Sunday is Father's Day, and we're wondering, what gift would you really like for Father's Day? Now, we put it on our Instagram poll there. We asked, like, would you like peace and quiet, or a family day, or would you like, you know, footy and pints, or, you know, a pair of socks and chocolate? So you'll be surprised at some of the answers we got in. But live now on our feed, we want you to comment in. All the dads, what would you really like for the day? Now, don't get yourself in trouble, but, you know, if you want to win that €20 voucher for Ripple's Cafe, just comment in on the live feed now, okay? So we're going to go over to our news and sports segment with Jessica Farry from the Sligo Champion and Gavin Cawley.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to this week's news bulletin on the Sligo Show. I'm Jessica Farry, and the headlines are: Sligo's iconic Yates Society is in grave danger of closure, and the future running of the world-renowned summer school held there is in jeopardy due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Farmers gather in Ballymote to protest against climate change proposals which they say would have significant repercussions for the sector. There's smiles all round at St John's Hospital as two local ladies celebrate turning 100, sharing their secrets to a longer life, including worrying less. And patients attending appointments at Sligo University Hospital are still facing significant delays due to the cyber attack on the HSE's IT systems. You can read all of these stories and of course lots more in this week's The Sligo Champion, available in your local shop, or you can subscribe to the e-paper online at sligochampion.ie.
So at the weekend there was a mixed bag for Sligo teams in action on the GA front. Unfortunately, the Sligo footballers fell to yet another defeat and ended their campaign against Wexford, while the ladies also came up short in their semi-final against Kildare, while the hurlers made it back-to-back promotions when they got the better of Tyrone to make it up to ensure promotion to Division 2B next season. This weekend on the GA front, there is 3 Connacht finals, incredibly all taking place in Markbridge Park. On the junior final, Owen Rua from West Sligo will participate in the junior final, while in the intermediate final, Giva will be hoping to get the better of Manorhampton, while in the senior final, the first time ever a Sligo team participating in the final, it is St Nathan's of South Sligo trying to get the better of the Galway County champions. Best of luck to all 3 teams as they try to bring silverware back from last year's Connacht finals. So there are 3 Connacht finals all taking place on Saturday. Just to finish up on the sporting front from Sligo from last weekend as well, it was a disappointing result for Sligo Rovers as the resumption of the League of Ireland, as they fell short to draw the United. 2 goals to 1 is how that one finished, but they'll be hoping to get back to winning ways. They face St Pat's at the weekend, and then they have another game on Monday night as well, so it's a busy couple of days for Sligo Rovers in the League of Ireland. Hope you enjoy any sporting activity. It's great to see fans back at games again. So that's the latest update from around the sporting fields of Sligo for the time being. Gavin Cody, I'm a freelance sports journalist as well, so hope you are enjoying the bit of freedom as well, and thanks for joining us.
So thanks to Jessica and Gavin for the updates. And don't forget, if you want to win that €20 voucher, drop a comment in on the live feed telling us, dads, what would you rather for Father's Day? Okay, what's your preferred gift? Maybe some of you are afraid to tell the truth. Maybe that's why I haven't got a lot of comments just yet. So we're back here with Nichola McEvilly, local actor, among other things. So now we're going to talk a bit more about your actual acting, career and what you've done and that. So, regarding you've done, I don't know how many shows, I can only imagine how many are different roles. So you've done TV, film, stage, the whole shebang, and voice acting as well. Out of all the shows you've done, whether it's a theatre or TV, what was your favourite show you've ever performed in?
Oh, goodness gracious. It's so hard to pick. Do you know, I suppose the one that kind of sticks with me most is the first time I ever worked at the Abbey Theatre. Okay. For loads of reasons, because it was a Tom Murphy play and it was one of the last in his lifetime, so he was kind of on hand with, to decipher the script. But it feels a big deal working there.
That's when I came, and in there, what a whole hallowed turf,
I felt the buzz, I tried to be cool, but I did kind of feel the momentum of it,
But very nerve-wracking at the same time, even though you loved it, was it?
I loved every second of it. It was definitely nerve-wracking, but in all the right ways.
Yeah, well, that's a good way, I suppose.
Yeah, it was really
nerves
cool.
mean you're living, I often say, So you put yourself out there,
true.
And then regarding actual roles, is there one role you've ever performed that you go, oh my God, I do that 100 nights a year all the time? What character do you love?
Oh gosh. Yikes.
Back to Annie, maybe, no?
Oh, Annie. I would actually love to do Annie again. Sometimes I do listen to Tomorrow.
Okay. So if anyone's out there looking for an Annie, Nicholas, is your
Annie 2.
I think there is an Annie 2, is there?
What happened?
Annie Moore will be the next
Annie
one,
Moore.
I think. So regarding acting idols, whether it's someone you've acted with, maybe locally, or someone on, world famous, is there someone that you kind of follow or look up to, try and learn off or listen to?
There's a couple of people actually that I don't, I think, what would they do if they were in this pickle? What choice would they make? And I always think about Aisling O'Sullivan, who's an actress that I've done a play with, so I got to know her process really well. She's done a lot of theatre with Druid. I think she was in Raw or the Clinic, one of them.
Okay, one of those.
But she's amazing, and her the way she worked was just incredible, and her command, the space and the audience was amazing. But I also look up to Cillian Murphy quite a lot.
He's amazing.
He's an amazing actor, but he has this really good way of keeping himself kind of neutral as a persona. We don't know much about him.
No, he does a rare interview, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that
very
kind of
interesting.
feeds into his work then,
True,
that he can just become anything, So I like his ethos,
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's cool.
Any, as I said, famous actors that you've worked with lately or in the last few years that we might know, even for Irish stage or screen or beyond? Or someone that was very funny on set with you that you enjoyed?
Oh, gosh. I worked with Matthew McFadden. He's in Succession now. Okay. I don't know if you watched that show. Oh my God, watch it! It's amazing. Okay. That was on Ripper Street, and he was really brilliant, but very much head in the job,
Okay.
In a play, I worked with an actress, Tina Callagher. She was in the Snapper. She was the woman having the baby.
Oh right, okay.
Yvonne, I think is the name of the character.
That had the baby, it was Sharon.
Sharon, was it? Yeah, Sharon.
Yeah,
Maybe Yvonne was the friend. Yeah, I worked with her. She's amazing. She's just unreal. She's just a brilliant actress and just so she'd be like, no, you have to do that now. You have to do that every night because that's your craft. You didn't want to curl my hair that night because no, you have to do it every night.
Right, okay.
So she's brilliant.
Very matter of fact.
Yeah.
And any stuff that happened to you, whether it's young or old, funny, maybe it's the most embarrassing moment being on the stage or anything that maybe people didn't realise in the audience was going on?
Oh, goodness. God, I remember my shoe flipping off one night and landing in the other actress's lap. She handed it back to me. She was her
As
shoe.
you do.
Yeah, that was mortifying. But in the moment, you're just getting on with the play, and then afterwards, we just laughed our heads
I know,
off.
yeah. You
But,
can't freeze, I suppose. You just keep
You have
going.
to keep going, or work it in somehow. You know,
we-
your shoe. Are you throwing your shoes at me now, or something? I don't know. Yeah,
We were
that's
we
all
were
I
doing a
can do.
local play here years ago, and a gentleman had his phone in his pocket, and it went off,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
answered it.
Oh, God, yeah.
We had a
I
phone
know.
incident here last week as well, so we're well used to phone issues.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got through it fine last week.
Did you?
Owen
Yeah.
Troy, we're watching out for him again this week.
If
So,
you're texting.
right now, I mean, it's still obviously kind of pandemic restrictions, but in general in the action world, is it hard to get work? Maybe people don't realise how much work you have to
Yeah.
do to get one role. Like,
Yeah.
Would you find it difficult?
Very, very hard. I mean, it's hard to get the auditions. It's hard to get through the door, and you know, once you're getting through the door, then you're kind of in the battlefield. So it's the battlefield is where you want to be. You know.
Yeah, but just to get there is difficult.
To get there is difficult, but that's the job. You know. So
I suppose you just get used to it, but it is hours and hours of
it's
tapes
just
and
tapes
sending in.
and tapes. At the moment, everything's on tape, and like I always kind of equate it to, for every job you get, there's 50 that you've gone for that you didn't get, you know. So you're just constantly like throwing it out there, and the job you'll get is because you sent something into them 6 months ago and they bring you back in.
Yeah,
So you
you
have
just
to give
get
everything to everything you go for.
And I think a lot of people out there maybe don't realise that. When they go to a play in a
yeah,
local
yeah.
theatre, they go, oh, that's just some actors. They maybe don't understand they've auditioned for 50 plays to get this one. Like,
To
you know.
get that
So I
one,
think
yeah, and it
it's
might
good
be
for
the only
people.
one they do that year, maybe not even for a while. So yeah,
No, it is. It's mental. And like, would you, as someone in your trade, would you agree or disagree that the whole art scene in Ireland is underfunded
Yeah.
and underappreciated? Would you go that far?
Do you know, I would have, even up until February of 2020, I would have been disgusted with
Okay.
how it was funded and treated, and even the lack of knowledge in the place of the arts, and you know, that the work that goes into something, you know.
Yeah.
But I think the pandemic has had a huge effect on how people understand how important the arts is.
Yes.
Because look, I mean, it was the artists that kind of, you know, everything stopped for them straight away, but they were the first to kind of start doing free things for people, you know,
Yeah.
and so much of what they give is of their own time, you know.
Yeah.
It's not always, you
And
know,
I think a
paid
lot of
for.
those people just, they want to be creative. Yes, they'd
Yeah.
love to earn money from it as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
but
of
when they
course.
can't earn money for like the last year, like
Yeah,
you could see it,
yeah.
whether it was musicians or actors, they were like, oh, we
Yeah.
just want to do something creative, like,
Exactly.
you know. And I think it's very important as well, I even think, for mental health. You know,
Oh,
as you said, whether it's the
yeah.
person performing, the person working in the crew, or the person in the audience getting to see
Yeah,
something like. And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
from the top table in the country, I don't think it's probably understood to that level.
I think in the appointment of Catherine Martin as minister has made a huge difference, and she has invested in it, and she does seem to understand. She's proving quite popular amongst us.
Yes, okay, well that's good to
So
have
we
a voice.
hope that the momentum will keep up, and I think it's positive so far. So I
And that's
think-
good. And we at the end, we're going to chat about, you have some live theatre coming up
Oh,
very soon
yes,
as well.
yes.
So away from all the world of acting, again, I don't know what you don't do, but you do another thing. But
Cooking.
you also, you make beautiful handmade shawls, or is it shawls?
Shawls, yeah, I do. Yeah, I love knitting. Knitting's something I've always done, and it's always been great to just kind of keep creative, you know,
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah, so I have some pieces now. I haven't done much knitting this year. Have to
Okay.
come clean. I haven't done much. But what I do make, I sell through Coach and I, the wonderful,
Yeah, wonderful
online-
Tara.
Yeah,
Not just
yeah.
wonderful for Coach and I, but
No.
for Corja Festival, amongst other things.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
a lovely
she's-
shop, a really nice shop. And that's a good one for Father's Day as well, anyone should.
Yes, yeah, it's a good one for Father's Day,
So that's
yeah.
where the people can get your shawls.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
And if you weren't in the acting world at all, what other job would you look at and go, oh, I'd love to do that?
God, I do love making things. I love constructing things. When engineering was the thing that came up when I was a teenager as well, but I think that's because my other brother was an engineer, so
Okay,
maybe.
it's
but,
maybe in the DNA.
I don't know. I don't know.
TV presenter.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
could be a job here in a few
Out
weeks.
of here. Watch it, don't drink what's in your glass.
Yeah, exactly. From following you, seeing you on social media, you generally are very positive, optimistic, and you seem to love Sligo.
Oh yeah, I
all the
love
time.
Sligo.
And what would you
yeah.
love most about it? If you were to sell it to someone to say, why would I come here to visit or to live? What would you think is one of the best things?
Well, gosh, it'd be very, very hard to pick one thing,
Mm.
but I think the art scene in Sligo is unreal. I mean, the theatre scene, the literary scene, and the music scene, obviously, but even the literary scene, like, there's so many writers that are from here, and I know so many people come here,
Yeah.
but there's an awful lot of,
It's a real
talent
mix
that-
of all that scene in
Such
there.
a mix,
And I
yeah,
suppose
yeah.
that you can come for a job, but then the arts world here will give you your memories and your enjoyment,
Yeah.
or maybe your kids get into that world.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
just the
yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
natural beauty. Yeah, no, I think
Yeah,
that is a
yeah.
huge scene here as well,
Yeah,
for
massive,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
And now, I know it might be hard for you to be negative now, but what would frustrate you about Sligo? If you were the mayor or a councillor, what would you kind of be starting to change?
I know, God, the roads. I know, I'd actually, do you know, not really from the last year, but it always kind of struck me that we never really, maybe this is more of a West of Ireland thing, but we've never had that commuter flight to London.
Yeah.
Do you know that, like, get to Knock or whatever at 9 in the morning or 8 in the morning, fly out and then be able to, you can do it from Dublin.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't really do it from the west of Ireland.
No, not too
That's
much.
probably quite a naive,
No, well, if
infrastructure thing.
but
but
it could be a
I'm
huge
sure
thing, as
it'll
you
be
said.
a
It could
massive
be
thing for people,
tourism
yeah.
and work thing as well. Like,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if I gave you €1 million check, what would be the first thing you'd build or do with Sligo Town?
Oh, run away. No, I would give it to the renovation fund for the Hawkswell Theatre.
Ah, okay, a little plug there as well, if you don't mind.
Good cause.
So before we talk about your wonderful show coming up at the Hawkswell, we're going to have a bit of fun. We're going to do our
Yeah.
quick 10.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to ask you, it might be more 10 questions. I'm not even sure, to be honest
Okay,
with you.
I'll count them.
So quick as you can't delay, and
Right.
you have to
Oh,
pick
God.
one, okay? So, favourite movie?
Moulin Rouge.
Favourite band?
Water Boys.
Strand Hill or Ross's Point?
Oh.
Let's get you into a
Ross's
lot of trouble.
Point.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't like Ross's Point.
Surfers or Shams?
Shams.
Yes, I got her to do the accent. Who would you rather have lunch with? Eamon Cunningham from EJ's or Niall Delaney from the Ocean FM?
Eamon.
Yeah, more crack maybe,
If
is
he
it?
puts me in one of his videos.
Ah, well, there you go. Now, Eamon, the call out is there. Favourite TV show?
Oh, Succession.
Succession, that's a double mention for that. TV show you hate or you couldn't bear to watch?
I had trouble with Schitt's Creek,
Oh, okay.
but I'll give it more time.
Right, okay. We'll come back in a later episode.
Yeah.
We'll check in with Nicola. Buckfast or tequila?
Tequila.
Dance or chat?
Oh, you can't separate them. They can happen at the same time.
One or the other. Okay, we'll let you away with that one. Four Lights or Bistro? See, it depends on the day of the week, doesn't it?
Oh, Four Lights.
Four Lights, okay. Cans on the beach or champagne in Coach Lane?
Champagne and Coach Lane.
Hawkswell or the model?
Hawkswell.
Okay, and your favourite saying, if you can think of one?
I didn't come this far just to come this far.
Fair enough, we'll take it on that. And before we let you go, as we said, you've a new production you're involved
Yeah.
in the Hawkswell coming up. Can you tell us all a bit more about it?
Yeah, so the Hawkswell is opening back up. It's been months and months and months since audience have been able to come in, and we're doing a show, samples of work that a few of us have made over the year. There will be myself and Miriam Needham doing a piece from her play Snapshot. There'll be Sandy Kelly and Shamie O'Dowd singing, Seamus O'Rourke. We'll be doing one of his pieces, Killian Phelan and Luke Devaney and Amy O'Hara.
Ah,
So
didn't
it'll be
forget
great
anyone there
night.
as well.
Don't forget anyone, yeah. It'll be a great night.
And when day is it on again?
It's on the 26th, Saturday, so that's Saturday week, 8 p.m, the Hawkswell. There's a few tickets left.
Hawkswell.com?
Hawkswell.com, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, Nicola, it has been beyond a pleasure having you on.
Thanks.
Thanks so much, and the best of luck. And again, anyone out there that loves the arts world, get out, support it, buy your tickets, buy them early as well when you hear of a show.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're now going to go to our local business slot, and we have Jay Ryan, who is a storyteller who a lot of people may know from Living with the Fairy on RTE Junior. And remember, keep those comments coming in if you want to win the €20 voucher. Just tell us, dads, what do you want this Father's Day? So we're here with our local business slot, and this week we have Jay Ryan, storyteller. Some of you may recognise from RTE Junior's Living with a Fairy, well, especially some of the kiddies. So Jay, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Nice to be here.
So tell us a little bit more about what a party involves with you.
What happens when I come up? Well, you might recognize me from the TV. Well, now I'll be doing it in person. So I'll be doing in-person parties of Living with a Fairy, and I'll bring a puppet show with me as well. And one thing I want to tell you, I know I might be known as Jay Ryan from Living with a Fairy, but I also have, I think it is Ireland's only flea circus.
I've actually seen this once in the library, and it was kids and adults were all there on the day, and I can assure you it wasn't just the kids that were fascinated by it. So you can bring that now, and that is, I presume, for adult parties and kid parties.
Yeah, everybody enjoys the flea circus.
Okay, so yeah, I can definitely recommend that. And you can go and do corporate work as well. You can go into staff. Well, when things maybe ease a little bit more, but you can do all those kind of parties and events.
I can, yeah, as long as I don't leave any fleas behind. But yeah, I could do corporate events as well, you know. But they're highly trained fleas now, and they're itching. They're dying to get out and meet people.
Oh, I can well believe it. So as you said, you can come to people's homes, and it's all the COVID compliant. Everything is fine. You've been doing them already, and it's all no need to worry about any of that health and safety stuff. That's all covered, and you're well trained in all of that. So kids parties. As you said, you can do a puppet show at the party. Do you do puppet making, or is that more the workshop stuff that you do?
No, well, I could if you ask me, but it's mostly for schools and community groups and that kind of thing. We do puppet making workshops.
Okay,
you know?
and so as I said, so when you come to party, it'll be a bit of storytelling, a bit of a puppet show, and maybe a flea circus. They're the kind of your three key areas that people.
Yeah, and a little bit of magic, maybe, you know.
Ah, okay.
A little bit of magic thrown in.
So how can people find you? I suppose Facebook and Instagram is probably the quickest and fastest way people find people now.
Yeah, J Ryan Storyteller. They can find me on that on Facebook, and jryan.ie. You can find me on that as well.
Ah, okay. Very good. Yeah. Well, Jay, pleasure having you on the show. So hopefully lots of people now will get to see the famous man from Living with a Fairy live in their sitting room over the coming months.
Sitting room, exactly. They can talk directly to me.
Jay, thanks for coming on. Appreciate
it. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.
So thanks to Jay there. So make sure you check him out for your parties, kids or adult. So just a reminder again, get your comments in. We're going to leave the competition open until Friday evening at 6 o'clock. So if you're watching this back, not live, you still have a chance to enter by Friday at 6 o'clock. So next, we're going to go to our entertainment news with our regular entertainment presenter, Karen Gordon.
Hi everyone, Karen Gordon here from Pop-Up Theatre Sligo and the Star Factory with your entertainment update. This week we want to say a huge thanks to Val Robus from magnumlady.com for all the information. If you fancy getting outdoors this weekend, then be sure to check out sligowalks.ie for a full list of all the fabulous walks around town. And if you fancy something a little bit spookier, there's a Sligo Dark Tales Trail walking tour taking place this Saturday, the 19th of June from the Riverside Hotel at 8 p.m. Check out magnumlady.com for full links to the information. For all the foodie lovers out there, be sure to check out the Sligo Food Trail site for a full list of all of the bars, cafes and restaurants doing outdoor dining and takeaway over the next week. And don't forget about the markets. We have the Sligo Farmers Market at Sligo IT on Saturday mornings and the Strandhill People's Market, which is now reopened again on Sundays, among others. Be sure to check out magnumlady.com for a full list. And for all you animal lovers out there is so much to do in town this week. With Island View riding stables near Streeja, horse ride against the incredible beach backdrop with a range of trekking options available. The Quarryfield Farm Experience in Bunanadden, the Atlantic Sheepdog demonstrations in Streeja, and Eagles Flying. See the owls, the hawks, the falcons and the petting zoo. Also taking place this week for a fantastic cause, the Northwest Simon community are hosting a Dip and Donate fundraiser. Be sure to check out www.northwestsimon.ie. And that's it for this week. If you check out any of the events, then have a fantastic time. And if you're going to the Quarryfield Farm, there's an alpaca section there. And if you want to invite me, I'll pack a lunch. That was funny. Bye.
Thanks again to Karen with all the great entertainment updates. Don't forget all our little segments of ET we'll be sharing separately over the next couple of days, including the interview on its own. If you don't want to listen to me and you just want to hear from Nicola, so watch out on our social media the next few days for that. So just before we finish up, we've a couple of little mentions here that we got in today. Sligo Rugby Club asked us to remind you that Sligo Tag is back. So go to sligotag.com, and they also have their Try Rugby Taster Sessions, which is for under 21s and senior women, and that's every Thursday from 7:30 to 8:45. So don't worry, you might miss a bit of our show, but you'll be able to watch it back anyway, so don't worry about that. Focus Ireland are having a 5k stand-up paddle on Lochgill, and that's on in August. So if you check out the Focus Ireland Facebook page for that. And a couple of little simple plugs. I've set up 2 Facebook groups that I think would be really helpful for businesses in Sligo and also help people with their lost and found. So if you check out Find It in Sligo, Shop Local, that's the name of one of the groups. So if you're looking for something in town, rather than going on Amazon, maybe put it in this group and someone in town might know, or in the county, know where it can be got. So we'll try and help our local business a bit with that. And a very simple one, Sligo Lost and Found is another Facebook group. If you lose something, or a tourist who comes to town and they lose something, because I had an incident myself recently in another county and I said, wouldn't that be awful handy? So we've had loads of members and loads of stuff put up on that. So check out those Facebook groups as well to help people. So finally, again, thanks again to Jessica Farry from the Sligo Champion, who did our news, Gavin Cawley, who did our sport, Karen Gordon with the entertainment, who a big shout to Val Robus from Magnum Ladies blog, who provided all the information. Jay Ryan, our storyteller with our local business segment. And last, of course, well, not last, but before we get to the final man, Nichola McEvilly, our wonderful guest. Thanks so much again for coming in. And again, Mark and Connie here in the Riverside Hotel and Ripples Cafe for letting us have their space. And the man behind the camera and does all the techie work, Brian McDermott from Pixel Productions. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, we this week delved into the chaos that is the Sligo roadworks. So here is our Sligo Show Investigates, and we'll see you next week, and be sure to share the videos online. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hi, Brendan Tierney here from the Sligo Show, reporting from the Cartron Junction where these roadworks are continuing. And I'm going to find out a little bit more about why it is taking so long. So we're here with Tom and Mick, 2 of the workers. So guys, why is it taking so long? People in the town are really getting sick of this. Like, you know, is there any reason? Has something held you up?
Well, it takes this long.
Traffic. People here, like, how can you get anything done with all these cars? Do you know, the grand diversion or something?
Yeah, there was a few bicycles earlier talking things up. You had to put in those cycle lanes there.
They had to come in from Holland.
That's right, it did. We paint them later now.
And a lot of people, guys, sorry, but a lot of people are saying, why couldn't you have worked at night?
To be dark.
Can't see them. You can't see them.
Anything.
How can you see?
Cost a fortune. Bring in lights. You don't raise the lights.
No.
Well, you can use the traffic lights.
They're not bright enough and they're coloured.
So lads, when is it going to be finished?
I'd say give it 6.
Finished, it's hard to say when it'll be finished.
But the
You know,
people...
when is anything finished?
Yeah, but
No.
the people of the town are getting sick of it.
Well, that's not our problem. You know, we're here to do a job, and if the people of the town weren't in our way, we'd have it done a long time ago.
Keep driving around.
Yeah, like, where is it? Like,
Jeez, where do you get to be going, like?
it's just very frustrating.
It's probably another 6 to 8 months.
8 to 12 months, maybe. Jesus, I don't know what, last couple of months, lockdown, I've seen more people on the road than ever. Stupid, like.
Yeah. So that's it, 12 months we're going to put up with this. More diversions, more traffic jams, and more people complaining on Facebook.
Yeah, well, what happened to your highways? That fitted you 6 months ago.
It's grand.
Um,
They had on me.
It'll be at least a year, if not a year and a half, probably. We're running out of cones as well. That's another problem.
I definitely go. I put an order in there last week for them, but nothing arrived yet.
And that's the problem with all the traffic. If we don't have enough cones, we can't get rid of the traffic. Like, where's anyone supposed to go if there's some cones to show them where to go?
Yeah.
What's so different about this road to any other one?
It's got extra lanes and lines and there's 40 different turn-offs. It's a shit town. Like, this isn't the first town we've done. We've done Roscommon, we've done Longford, we've done Carrick and Shannon, and all of them, they all went roundabouts. Loads and loads of roundabouts, and they worked really well. This Sligo County Council came in to us and said we want loads of traffic lights, and we said no, what are you on about? Like, that's not the way anyone is doing it these days. So look, there was no arguing with them. The mayor himself waded in it, said he wants traffic lights, so we did traffic lights. That's what takes the next time. It's amount of wires we're running. So where do you get plugs for all of these traffic lights, like?
Oh, Jesus. Sure, he's a total perfectionist, like. You can't be telling him, you know. You just gotta let him at it. See how long it takes, you know.
So a lot of people are complaining and wondering, why don't you take in lots of these cones at night? They're serving no purpose at all.
Primarily because a lot of the lads are missing out on football training at home, and they tend to use the cones for, you know, like the Buck is doing there, for a bit of practice, and so it keeps the boys happy, you know. So what's the point in bringing them in? Come on, lad, keep it up.
This is Brendan Tierney reporting from the Cartron Junction, Sligo.
That's a good one.